Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to show you the team I'm going to use for this week's invasion. I'm going to take a look at this Soulforge and show you what's good and bad in there, and also the team I'm going to use for Underspire. Right, just check a couple of things first. Okay, oh, we got these anniversary weekly goals now. Defeat brown enemies to earn points for the weekly goal. This is part of this anniversary weekly goal thing now, where we can earn rewards, I think, this week. So let's learn more by pressing that square button. Okay, it didn't work. Let's try it again. Let's try a different button. I learnt more. It doesn't work. What a surprise. The devs can't even get that bit right. Oh my goodness. Aha, I just found how you can look at those rewards. If you go to Daily Plunder, you can actually see the weekly progress of those rewards in there. And yeah, they haven't actually hurt themselves too much on the generosity, that's for sure. So let's take a look at these rewards. This is our reward for supporting the game for so long. We have to actually play more to actually get these rewards. They're not given to us at all. You have to do stuff. It is going to be fairly easy to get them, but you do have to actually play the game more. So it's not like giving us stuff even remotely. And what they are giving to us isn't exactly generous. I mean, 250 gold. I know it's the first reward, but I mean, seriously? You sure you could spare it, devs? 25 glory. A few gems. A handful of souls. Even if you're a mid-game player, this is stuff which is not going to change your game hardly in the slightest. Oh my god, 10 silver marks. You're having a laugh. Shiny dust? Another 250. Oh my god. 5 cursed walnuts. Some souls, some more silver marks. Oh, you sure you could spare those 5 gold marks? And then the 10 of wands at the end. Give 2 magic to 3 random allies and a 7% chance for an extra turn for each red gems on the board. You're not going to use that. Wow. I'm very gobsmacked. Let me collect my rewards before they are taken away from me because I want them so badly. Oh, thank you. Thank you. But to be fair, earn all 4 tarot cards in November to craft Dragon Lord Luther, as it says there in the bottom right hand corner. So basically a free mythic as the celebration of the 10th anniversary. Free, but only if you complete all 4 of these tasks every single week for the entirety of November. Does damage to all enemies, boosted by blue dragon gems, and barriers itself. And nothing special about the traits either, but it's another mythic and it's a little bit free if you're prepared to play the game enough to get all those 4 tarot cards for the entirety of November. But it is what it is, and it's better than a kick in the whatsits. Anyway, let's take a look at this weekly event troop, the Dwarven Merchant. Cardial ultra rare. Gain magic plus 1 gold, give 25% mana to all other allies, so not himself. The thing is with these kind of troops is that obviously the bigger the mana cost for the troop, the more useful it is. So like a Stellarix, for example, would get a big chunk of their mana straight away. Others using less would get not as much. But yeah, it's alright. And gains magic plus 1 gold as well. Gain 2 bonus gold on 4 or 5 gem matches, has fortitude, which is typical for dwarves, and gains 25% bonus gold from battle. Maybe useful in a gold farming team. Have to dig into that one. Do you see? Anyway, it's a dwarf, they dig stuff. Anyway, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, but it could actually be better than that because of that gaining gold thing and being relevant in a gold farming team. But yeah, 5 out of 10 for now for you. Maybe actually better than what I think it is. Maybe not as good. Have to test it out. But yeah, as I get enough of these to get up to mythic level, like that, for example, and that is gonna be upgraded later on. All good. Right, I've got that weapon. Have a quick check at the offers today. It's a daily deal. Ooh, I always grab the verse offer, especially if it's the one that I need. Verse 4 is the one that I need, so that 50 gems will pay itself back really, really easily on that verse when you do a No Palooza. So yeah, that was worth picking up. Right, let's take a look in the Soulforge then. See what's going on. Oh, I didn't say today's joke, did I? What was today's joke? Oh yes, I bought a new muzzle the other day for my pet duck. It's nothing special, but it fits the bill. Do you see? Right, Soulforge. Let's jump in. Alright, weapons. Underminer. Don't get it from here, get it from the event shop in Invasion, because it will be exactly the same weapon. So you're going to want to do a few tiers in that anyway to help out your guild, so save your diamonds by getting it from there. And it's an explodey summoning weapon. Explodes magic +1 brown gems. That's a good colour for a dwarf weapon to explode, because basically dwarves like brown a lot. Grant a random status effect to all dwarf allies, then summon a dwarf troop. So yeah, nice explodey summoning weapon. Do like them. War and Peace. Deal magic-based damage to all enemies and give 2 attack to all allies. Has a Peaceful was one of the upgrades, which is really good. You silence the first enemy, meaning they can't collect mana and they can't cast spells. So one of the cool upgrades about that at the same time. But not a bad weapon at all. All these ones that are here all the time are in my Soulforge extra video. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And next up we have Stone Aegis. All allies gain magic +2 armor. Also, all allies gain 8 attack and 2 mana for every enemy barrier. So if the enemy barriers themselves, it actually makes this weapon better. But yeah, you don't want to rely on that for that kind of thing. So yeah, not brilliant. And also just gaining armor doesn't help you versus true damage teams, which there are a lot of them now. Grudge Keeper. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Cargill allies, then create a mix of 6 red and brown gems for each Cargill ally. Uses blue and yellow. Generates stacks of red and brown. So make sure at least 1 or 2 of your Cargill allies use red and or brown to make use of all that lovely generated mana. Doom Sledge. Deal magic-based heavy splash damage to an enemy with a +4 per tempering level boost. So the higher you temper it, the more damage you do. Stun all brown enemies. Cleanse all brown allies. Explode 4 gems. If the enemy has a doom, explode 3 more. So obviously most effective against an all brown team. And yeah, it can actually do an okay amount of damage and self-charge itself to a degree when it explodes those gems. So yeah, not a bad weapon at all. Hammer of Cargill. Kind of the anti-Cargill weapon in a way. Removing all brown gems, that's the colour that dwarves typically like the most. And deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by the amount of gems removed. If the enemy is from Cargill, if the battle is in Cargill, deal double damage. So yeah, good in them sort of situations. I never seem to use them weapons a lot, if ever, in a game though. But they're still worth picking up because they're cheap on diamonds and they give you another weapon from that kingdom, and that may help progress your kingdoms later on, which is cool. Wand of Stars, as ever, always pick it up if you can. Really, really good weapon. Best in the game. Tons of mana gen most of the time. Can backfire now and again, but the vast majority of the time it's going to go in your favour. And you have that option of Bless or Curse at the same time, which is really, really cool. Any more for any more, we have Council of Dragons. Create 2 blue, green, red and brown dragon gems and gain an extra turn. Kind of sounds really good. Used it a few times and didn't actually get on with it that well, to be honest, even with that extra turn. It's an out-and-out mana generator, and that is it. The upgrades aren't anything fantastic, I don't think, and if you're going to go for a mana generator, you may as well go for Wand of Stars if you got it, or Obsidian Libram, or something that's guaranteed to get loads of mana. So yeah, not my favourite weapon now. For getting mana gen, Bone Hammer. That sounds jolly painful. Dealing magic +3 damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by monster allies. So a simple damage weapon with a little boost on monsters. Alright, so let us now take a look at the troops as ever. Pop through and have a look at all these summoning stone troops. See if there's anybody that you haven't got in there that's particularly good. Roll the dice and see if you get lucky picking a few of them up. You're looking for particularly empowered troops. Anybody that's empowered starts with full mana. Mini goblins, really, really good. Angry mobbers are pretty decent. Mana generator though, even though it's not empowered, really, really good. Do like that one. Good old firebomb as well. Starts battles with full mana. Explodes gems off the bat, getting some mana for you absolutely straight away. Not seeing anybody too fantastic all around. But again, any new troop is worth getting, but you will get a lot of these just from random key openings as well, so wouldn't go getting any of these just because you haven't got them yet, if you know what I mean. They may just pop up in keys. Right, let's take a look at the mythics then. We'll start from the bottom, work our way up. As before, we're not going to go over the troops that are here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video as well. First up, we have Ares. This is a better troop than I think people give it credit for. It's construct, which means it's going to work well in a team with the Empress, for example. And when you put this guy at the bottom and it gets that magic boost from the Empress, that deal what looks like a low amount of damage at first, or can be a low amount of damage, can it be absolutely lethal. And it can just smash someone, they die, it explodes them gems, it gets set off charged because it's 20 mana, which is not that lot if you explode gems, and there's plenty of the colours on the board that it uses, and then do it again. I've had it plenty of times in the team with the Empress, where it literally just casts, kills, self-charges, does it again until everybody's dead. So yeah, pretty good, but obviously the weak spot of that is only hitting one enemy at a time and giving the turn back to the opponent unless you get a fluky extra turn. But yeah, not as bad as his first thought is Ari's Pycea, absolute demon fish. Not literally, I'll be a demon, not a merfolk, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it destroys all green gems. It creates blue gems equal to the number of green gems destroyed. So if there's a lot of green gems there, you can actually get a load of blue gems, which are going to charge it up. And the gems are destroyed with full effect as well. So if you've got a mana using troop that uses green, you get the benefit of that as well, which is really, really cool. And as well as that, there are 2 independent 30% chances to devour a random enemy. So mana gen for green troops, charge and Pycea up at the same time, and then 2 chances of a devour. Can actually chomp through teams really quickly if you get a little bit of luck with that devour. Really, really good. Reduce damage from skulls by 30% is okay. Submerge myself when I take damage is alright. And give 4 attack to all blue allies when matching blue, which it does a lot when it casts its spell. So yeah, really, really amazing troop. Pycea, I love it a lot. Mythrillion. Very defensive type troop this. Exploding a 3x3 block, gaining magic based armor, and barrier a random ally for every skull destroyed. So yeah, nothing too fantastic about the spell there. Inscribed, gain 1 armor when an enemy casts a spell. Reduce damage from spells by 50% and reflect 75% of skull damage. Kind of sounds really good, but it's not. The thing is with that mythical armor is it's not reducing damage by 75%, it's pinging 75% of damage back. So basically it's still going to receive the full amount of damage, but whoever gave that damage will actually receive 75% of that damage too. So they both end up on the chopping block pretty quickly, basically. So yeah, nothing great about Mythrillion, unfortunately. And who else do we have? Oh, we have War. Do believe the first mythic ever in the game, and very much showing his age. The power creep in the game has left him long behind, and he's now complete and utter rubbish. Burn all enemies, deal magic +1 damage to an enemy, boosted by my attack, gain an extra turn if the enemy dies. 50% chance to ignore armor with skull damage is okay. Reflect 25% of skull damage is okay as well. And gain 3 attack at the start of each turn is just too slow to be effective these days. So War, a mythic, but a collectible one these days. It's like almost impossible to put him into a team built around him. It just doesn't really work. There's just so many better troops now. So yeah, War, kind of collectible. Right, let's take a quick look at the legendaries then, and then we'll move on to the invasion team. Right, who's first up? We have King Highforge. Very, very good. Stun the last 2 enemies and deal magic +3 damage to them, boosted by ally dwarves, and has a summon at the same time. And has stone loyalty. All dwarf allies start with 50% mana, as well as fortitude, and ally dwarves gain 2 life. So yeah, King Highforge, really good. The Great Maw. It's a legendary troop with mythic cost. 24 mana cost for this. Devour an enemy. Trade 8 yellow and 8 brown gems. 1 cast only. 1 cast wonder, but you can get a Devour, but that massive mana cost, I've hardly ever used it. It does work in some teams though, but there are plenty of other teams now with Devour troops at the same time. This is one of the early ones. So again, another troop showing its age. Hydra. It was bad when it came out, and it's even worse now. 16 mana cost and deals a rubbish amount of scatter damage, boosted by its missing life. So to make it effective, you have to get hit and damaged. Yeah, not very good. Hydra. Bone Dragon. As an early and mid-game player, especially early, used to be terrified of Bone Dragon. It was like, oh my god, this again. It was really popular in the game a few years ago. Eliminating up to 25 armor from an enemy, creating 9 skulls, boosted by armor eliminated, and gain magic-based armor equivalent to your magic. And Frozen Soul, inflict frozen when enemies deal skull damage to me, was decent as well. So yeah, Bone Dragon, still a decent troop in the right team. Just not as scary as he used to be. But my mythic of the week is certainly not War. And it's definitely not Mithrilium. So it's between Pycea and Ares. Ares is okay, it's pretty good, but does not compare remotely to the might of Pycea. Destroying those green gems, which feeds into your green mana using troop, gets a load of blue at the same time, which can feed itself, literally, and then it can just go around devouring things with a bit of luck and end games really quickly, which is obviously going to boost up its stats at the same time. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Pycea, my mythic of the week. Right, now on to the invasion team. The event captain for this is the Dwarven Overseer, and you must use that in the team to get that ×2 magic and ×2 score. For this event only, but essential to use it. To get it, you're going to grab it from the shop at tier 2. So grab tier 1 first, that gives you a potion of enchantment, which is also really good for this event, as well as a few other bits and bobs. Tier 2, you get Dwarven Overseer guaranteed. Magic-based damage to an enemy, and if they're a tower, deal 3 to 5 times damage based on my ascensions, and destroy 8 gems. So, 2 ways to get that to mythic level: either buy enough tiers, which is very expensive on gems, but you will get enough eventually to get it to mythic level, or you can spend 2 orbs of ascension to get him up to a mythic level. That is what I done. And the next tier, you're going to want the next tier as well, because a cool weapon, Underminer, better than buying it from the Soulforge. Exploding magic +1 brown gems, grant a random status effect to all dwarves, and summon a dwarf. So that could be good for this event anyway, because that is a pretty handy weapon. Lots of mana gen, status effects, and a summon all at the same time. Right, so let's take a look at the team. The trouble with this team is, dwarves is no particularly powerful ones on their own. I mean, you got an okay mythic one, Ghost King Grimhorn, doing true damage to first 2 enemies, converts all yellow to Doomskulls, pretty decent, but not everyone's going to have that. So this is still a really, really effective team. When you've not got any real powerhouses in the team, or the troops we're limited to pick from, then it's really important that the team synergizes really well. And with this team here, you've got damage from everybody and a lot of mana gen at the same time, as well as the safety net of a summon. The weapon here, the Rune Forger. If you don't have this, you can use something like Mountain Crusher at the same time, or that new Underminer weapon we just showed a minute ago. That is another good one, but good old Mountain Crusher will be really good for this. In fact, it may even be better in some ways, because if you got it upgraded, you get a Dust Storm with Mountain Crusher as well, which is a constant slew of brown, which is really good. But this is cool as well, because it does damage too. Dealing magic-based splash damage to an enemy, explode a random gem for every brown ally and enemy. So we're going to explode 4 gems anyway, because of 4 brown troops on our side, and if there's any brown on the other side, we explode even more. So we get to do splash damage, mana gen at the same time. Nice. King Bloodhammer deals damage to the 2 strongest enemies and transforms all blue to Doomskulls to boost the effect. So just make sure those blue are transforming to something decent regarding what you want. In other words, a 4 match, or at least some decent matches on skulls to not set up the enemy, and do a lot of damage that way as well. Dwarven Overseer will use to bash the towers when they come along, dealing damage to an enemy. Remember, that is ×2 magic as well, so you can use it for a nice finisher on troops at the same time. And deal 3 to 5 times damage based on my ascensions, destroy 8 gems. So more mana gen from that as well. King Highforge stuns the last 2 enemies, deals damage to them boosted by allied dwarves, which is the whole team, and summons a random dwarf. So stun, damage, and a summon. So a nice mix of stuff here, and we get a nice 50% mana start on our team at the same time. The class for this, I'm going to go to Rune Priest. All dwarves gain 2 life, summon a dust storm when an enemy dies. So as soon as an enemy dies, we get a brown dust storm, which is really good because all our team uses brown. And all dwarven allies gain 2 life and an attack on 4 or 5 gem matches. We can have impact. He's any good. Hammer Mastery, Vanguard, Razor Armor, really good. Can have Rock Solid, gain a barrier when matching brown gems. You can have Dwarven Armor rather than Razor Armor, because we've not got the, if you've not got the weapon at the top. Stone Mastery is good. I like all of these actually, but it's depending upon who you're fighting. If you're using a green weapon that uses green at the same time, then that is probably worth having rather than Stone Mastery, but I don't use green in this team, so Stone Mastery is really good. And a Fortitude, so lots of really good things in that. So just check that was a hammer. Yes, just making sure that trait was right. Right, so a very, very straightforward team this. 3 times Medals of Nysha to boost up the power of our team. And this should be very straightforward. Just collect brown, cast weapon at first. You're going to do absolutely stacks of damage. There's a potion of explosions. We kick. Well, shall I get that? I'll get it anyway, just because it's there. Didn't have to. But let's get that. That's going to do splash damage. Kaboosh. There we go. And we are done. Just cast this for the finish. And that's going to be good for quite a few of these early stages. Like a single cast of your troops, depending upon your magic level, is going to be enough to just whiz through these early stages. The combination of that 50% mana start, the potion that we get as well of enchantment, is going to charge up the team really, really quickly. There we go. We do our damage. Second or third troop down. Make sure you get the most out of this splash damage. Loads of damage. We've picked up this as well. Done. Very, very fast through these early stages. Right, now jumped forward to when all 4 towers start appearing. Again, player's choice whether you move the Dwarven Overseer to top place or not. The advantage to that is you do get Siege Broker benefits of the deal 3 to 5 times skull damage versus the towers. So get those skulls aligned, it can be really good. Downside to that is it doesn't have any skull damage reduction or anything like that. So if some of them skulls drop in, against you, then basically you could actually lose that troop quite quickly if you're unlucky. The benefit of having Runeforger up top is we get that nice barrier every single time we collect round. And we still get the Razor Armor, adding 20% of armor to skull damage. So it's still pretty effective. Let's look at it both ways round. Let's leave the hero at the top at first. Then we'll stick Runeseer up top and see how that goes. Right, so we'll collect some... Might as well get that because it's there. Right, so we're enchanted anyway, so we're up next round. Let's soften them up. Like that. If we've got a 4-match on blue to skulls, we can do that. We haven't, so we've got to be a little bit careful. You can't just cast this without looking. You've got to be a tad careful. So let's just get rid of somebody who we haven't damaged yet, like them. They are gone. And we've got blue to skulls. Not really. Again, so we can cast this. The good thing about that is that's going to soften them up, so you can then cast this. It doesn't matter if you've got a skull alignment or not, if they were going to die anyway. So let's just see how it goes with moving this fella to the top now. Like I say, I do actually personally prefer it the other way around. It's safer. I know it doesn't matter if you lose the top troop sometimes if you end up winning the game anyway, but I'm a bit weird like that. I don't like to lose troops unless it's completely necessary, which just feels better if you win without losing any troops. So let us get some... that again. Let's see, now you can look around for some skulls. We haven't got any alignment that's any good. In fact, we're going to set the enemy up for an extra turn, so let's cast that again, get rid of somebody. But now we're okay because we can do that damage, and any skulls that drop down afterwards, we're going to get that triple damage. So bish bash bosh. Uh-oh, we took one little hit. Doesn't matter because we're going to sort them out anyway. By casting them 2 other troops back to back. Does feel risky though, because you do have to really have the alignment on the blue to doom skulls with this troop here, King Bloodhammer. But when it works, it's going to flow really, really nice. Like I say, if you get a nice skull hit at the beginning, we can just take someone out absolutely straight away. If we've got alignment like this is when you can have an absolute riot, bash, and bish bash dosh, and they're pretty much gone. If you're a lower ranked player, and if your stats aren't as high as mine, I would, for safety, I still actually would go this way around. So it's player's choice. If you want the safety with a little bit of a longer game sometimes, then definitely stick the Runeforge to the top, because the constant benefits of the barrier every single time we collect round are worthwhile, and we still get that Razor Armor, so we still actually finish off those troops pretty quickly. Let's give them another bash. Let us get rid of that bottom one. And we can cast that. And that's without having to look for skulls. Still very straightforward. I think I should cast the other one. Or should we do it on skull damage just for fun? Why not? But yeah, it works in a multitude of different ways. So really, really a cool little team there. Now let's take a quick look at the Underspire team. This team is actually quite different from the Invasion team. Quite often the Underspire team is very similar or even the same as the event team, but in this case it's actually quite different. And we can have a little bit of fun with this at the same time. Good weapon for this will be good old Mountain Crusher. Exploding magic-based gems, and you get a Dust Storm if you've got to upgrade it at the same time, which creates loads more brown than usual. So really, really good. But there's not a huge amount of choice in this, so I'd say this weapon is very good for this. Indeed, you can use the Rune Forger for the early stages as well. It's going to get benefit of that splash damage. It's going to do damage to 3 enemies, which is cool. And we can use the Empress in this team, giving skills based on your magic to all skills on the last ally, with a chance for an extra turn at the same time. That troop in last place could be King Highforge. Stun the last 2 enemies and deal magic based damage to them, boosted by ally dwarves, and has a summon as well for security. And we get a nice 50% start on the dwarves. So if we were in Rune Priest, the same as we were for the Invasion event, you're still going to get that 50% mana start. But the benefit of changing to Geomancer for this is the fact we still get some really good traits, like reduce damage from skulls by 50%, and all constructs start with 50% mana, which includes the Empress at the same time. And we can still benefit from some really good talent trees like Anti-Magic Sphere, Tactician, Rock Solid. Still got that barrier when matching brown, but we can now have Tree of Knowledge, gain enchant when matching green gems, which we do for the Empress, and Fortitude at the same time. Banner for this would be a +2 brown, +1 red, -1 yellow gate banner. And the third troop is kind of optional in a way. Apothecary is fairly good, transforming a selected mana colour to brown and get a cleanse at the same time. But if you don't have her, then there are certainly some other good options. You can even run that Ares team that I mentioned in the Soulforge video. You could chuck Ares at the bottom if you got that, dealing damage to the first enemy. If they die, explode 8 gems. When you cast Empress, that damage goes absolutely through the roof. And you can still use King Highforge next one up, as some supplemental damage, which will benefit from the Rune Forger damage at the same time. So yeah, some cool options on this. Let's do a couple of battles in the Underspire. Looking for brown if we can to get our Rune Forger up. 3, lots of damage at the same time. Lovely jubbly. Look for skull hits to get the job done. If not, we can collect some brown. The only thing you're missing from this is the storm. Don't get the dust storm with this. I kind of do like the way Mountain Crusher gets that dust storm. Ooh, up or right? Right, it's got to be right. Right. I've got to stop using that joke. It's really bad. Ooh, do like the idea of getting some green straight away. So we'll grab that first. That's got the Empress up. So the good thing about that is, if we let's just do this for the sake of it, because right now we're doing 69 damage. Ooh, misses. Then we'll cast the Empress. Did get the extra turn. It's got 125. So it doesn't matter on the early stages, but it's a really good damage boost for those stages later on. And now we can use Apothecary, transform a selected mana colour to brown. We'll do that on yellow. Charge up the team nice and quick, and kaboosh them out of there. We could use the bottom troop as well. Right, so let us... Shall I chuck Ares into the team? Just because that's how that one worked. It's fairly straightforward. Let's show the Ares team ever so quickly, just in case people out there do have Ares. We'll chuck Ares to the bottom. We're still going to get a bit of benefit of King Highforge, but shall I change that as well? Yeah, let's just change that to Mountain Crusher just for the crack. Right, so this can give us a brown storm at the same time. This is like a different way of going about it. Let's see if Ares is kind to me when I cast it. So that's got that charged. We'll do that. There we go. Like, Ares up already. We are going to do plenty of damage to kill the team, so we don't need to get this boost, but let's cast that. Didn't get charged up that time, but quite often it will. And we can do the damage from... oh, excuse my throat. From our King Highforge. But when Ares is in a good mood, it will actually just self-charge itself really quickly. But it does depend upon, obviously, if other troops in your team are already charged or not, because otherwise they might be pinching the mana, which ordinarily would have gone to Ares. So let's just for a laugh to see what happens if I cast Empress first. We've got the extra turn. Let us now look at that damage. It's gone up to crazy levels. That's going to be really, really handy on the later levels. But King Highforge will do a really good job at the same time. So always nice to have that option. Well, I know I can cast these ones or whatever. Let's see if we get lucky with Ares. There you go. One dead and another dead and self-charged again. That's what I was saying in the Soulforge video. It's how Ares can work if it's... and done it again. But there's a video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.